Terry, I think we are live. And folks, anyone who is watching this, welcome. Welcome to this evening where I get to interview Terri Rainier and the Divine Realm. Terri, welcome, first of all. And secondly, I'm sure our audience would like to know a little about you. So would you fill us in a bit, please?
Hi, Peter. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so the divine realm and how I my background with that is that I've lived pretty much a conventional life and grew up Catholic and went to college and got a job in the business world. And here I am years later going, okay, what else do I want to do with life that feels more meaningful? And so about 30 years ago, I got involved with massage therapy, and which led to a variety of holistic and wellness activities for a while. And then I went back to corporate. You know how it is when you want to support your child with more materialistic items.
Sure.
Wanted higher income and to give him a better life. And now that he's an adult, I get to go back to doing what I love most, and that's the holistic wellness. So
Yeah. Well, now you're a channeler and you have been for some time. How did that come into your life?
well, when I got involved with the massage therapy, I was also doing craniosacral, which is a very energetic type modality.
Mhm.
And while I was doing that, a variety of other spirits were coming in that had passed over. And so I was somewhat like a medium at that point,
Mhm.
as I was sharing their messages to the person who I was working on. And then after I went back into corporate and then left again, I went into life coach training. And during a ceremony that we were doing outside, I had another coach come up and put her forehead against mine, and a whole bunch of information from another planetary life that we had together flowed through. And so for days, that information was flowing through. And then I was asking all kinds of questions. And at that point, the divine realm came in and started explaining everything to me. And I was like, well, who are you? And they're like, well, we're consciousness prior to creation. And so they were great at helping to explain how the omniverse works and our place in it and what we're here to do. And so it's just been a wild ride for the last 3 years with all the wonderful information they've been sharing. And I was sharing it mostly with friends. And just back on December 12th of 2020, I went public with you and sharing some of their messages.
Mhm. Yeah. You mentioned the omniverse. That's a term that a lot of people are not familiar with. What do you mean by that?
The omniverse is the collection of all of the universes. There's like millions of universes we think about, and there's just trillions of galaxies. And so the omniverse is the term that's utilized to represent all of creation.
Okay. It's funny. I think most humans, when they think of the term universe, they think that's everything. And apparently not. What, in your opinion, would distinguish one universe from another?
It's basically our thought process as collectives. So we can have one collective who might be having a particular thought process. Um, So let's say one group is thinking, oh, I have lack in my life. And so they create a universe that represents lack.
Hmm.
And somebody else might have a collective group that is all about abundance. And so they were able to go create that universe of abundance. And so we think of as humans as the universe being kind of a one set of dimensions, but we're actually having several universes going on within even planet Earth based on how different portions of the collective view things.
Mm.
It gets a little complicated, maybe too
Just a
much
little.
for this conversation. Let's try to keep it simple, is what they're saying. So yeah, based on collective thoughts, it creates a variety of universes.
Yes, I understand ours is a little unique among them in that we are a free will universe. And that's maybe one way to distinguish ours from many others. Yeah, that's fascinating. I know our human level of consciousness just cannot take in some of the things that are the norm at higher levels of consciousness. But we're apparently moving in that direction of expanding our consciousness.
Yes, when they first explained this to me like 3 years ago, my head was spinning. So let's just keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how has channeling impacted you? I can imagine you're a very different person now that you're connected to the divine realm. And what's changed in your life?
I feel so much more safe and calm.
Hmm.
That's probably the biggest pieces, the takeaway for me is that I feel like I have much more objectivity about
Mhm.
life and a whole lot less judgment. And
Mhm.
I understand how everything is serving us and how everything is a reflection. Uh, I'm not a victim, that I get to consciously create my reality, and that we all do. We're all consciously creating our reality. Some of us just haven't remembered that we're doing that. And so you have the terms awake and asleep, and it's somewhat like that. It's just, yeah, waking up and remembering who we truly are and what we're all capable of creating.
That's really a big step in your own evolution, then, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So I've been on this personal growth, spiritual growth journey for, gosh, 35, 40 years. And it feels really great to have so much more comfort and awareness in my body too,
Mhm.
not just like in my mind, because my mind first had to kind of absorb things, and then a whole bunch of experiential stuff happened, and I was like, oh wow, my body's feeling bliss for no apparent reason.
Mhm.
So it's like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah. Well, I understand that advancing spirituality is like a three-legged stool, that it's mind, body, and spirit. And if you're not addressing each of them, you've got a tippy stool. That the body is a very important part of this.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community that talk about ascension, and let's and they don't pay enough attention to their bodies,
Yeah.
and so that's one of the messages from the divine realm that they have shared from an observation perspective, is to make sure that we're including our physicality in our ascension process, and the way we are expanding and growing.
Yeah.
Not
Based on,
necessarily gaining weight, but
yeah. Well, based on some of the conversations you and I've had, planet Earth is here for us to play, to experiment, to experience. And we've taken on these bodies to have those kinds of experiences, physical ones. So, in a sense, you could say that as long as they're not violating other people, everything's fair game, and everything is kind of in the interest of experiencing and learning more so that we as creators can create yet more.
yes, that's it. You said it. That is exactly what they've been sharing. So,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah, and that, even for those that are, because, but things do happen on this planet that don't feel very nice, and we hurt each other, right? And when those instances arise, it's really because we've forgotten the oneness from which we come. And that when we hurt somebody else, we're just hurting ourselves,
mhm.
because we are all one.
Yeah.
So the more we remember the wholeness and oneness from which we are, the less hurting that we'll do to each other.
Yeah, I might ask the realm to explain that a little bit more in that. I think a lot of people would say, well, look, you're over there in North Carolina. I'm over here in Richmond Hill. We're separate. And you're telling me we're one? Um, Explain that one to me. And I think I know the answer, but I think it'll be interesting to hear the realm on this. And yeah, maybe it's time we brought them in. Can you feel them around you?
Oh yes, they're with me all the time.
Yeah.
They're always
Okay.
whispering in my ear.
What are they telling you right now? Get on with it?
They're like, okay, go ahead, let us come through now. It's like, okay.
Okay. Well, bring them on. And yeah, thank you.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Divine Realm. I think I can always tell when you're coming through. There's a little change in Terry's face. A little smile begins to creep in. And these days, you're just opening your eyes as to say, here we are, kind of thing. But yeah, nice to have you with us. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, we are so grateful to be here, Peter.
Good. Now, the term divine realm is not very familiar to very many humans. So, would you expand on that and explain to us who you are and just a little about yourself?
Yes, we are the realm prior to creation, that level of consciousness of infinite possibilities and pure potentiality. We have come up with an analogy that might be helpful for your bodies to understand.
Hmm.
When you are breathing, you inhale. You are full. And you exhale. And you are empty. In that space of emptiness is where we reside.
Hmm.
When you inhale, you are creating conscious creation to bring life forward, for life to arise. And when you are at the top of that breath, of that inhalation, that's the fullness for you to create from.
Hmm.
The wholeness is experienced at the top of that breath.
Mhm.
As you exhale, your creation is manifested. And then there is quietness again for the next moment of creation to arise.
Mhm.
It's a continual co-creation. So as humans, as you remember to consciously create from wholeness, you are co-creating with the divine realm, which is the realm of pure potentiality and infinite possibilities.
That's what we would call God. Is that correct?
Yes, some people refer to the divine realm as God. It
Mhm.
really depends on what type of religious background you have. We prefer the name divine realm so that religions do not interfere with the interpretation of the wholeness and oneness of all of life, of the omniverse.
Mhm. I'm sure most religions would say whenever or if ever we find ourselves in the presence of God, we should be on our knees, prostrating ourselves, engaged in worship, And I get the impression in speaking with you, that's not how you would prefer it to be. Can you explain a little about what the right way or an appropriate way might be for us to deal with you, I guess, would be the best way I can put it.
Gratitude is a very purposeful vibration. And while a lot of the prostrating or hands and knees that people do within religion is for the gratitude. We recognize that. We recognize the gratitude that the humans are displaying for divine presence in their life. However, we encourage everyone to realize that they are the divine already. It just happens that you're in a human body. So when you are having gratitude, know that that gratitude is you being grateful for you and the divine love and light that you are expressing in a human body.
So that which is in the human body is that same level of consciousness that the divine realm experiences. And that is what animates our body. Am I on the right track here?
Yes, yes, that is exactly it, Peter. Yes.
So we are God, or we are the divine realm.
Yes.
Just part of that realm is experiencing physicality on planet Earth.
Yes. So the divine realm expresses life through light and sound and a variety of elements, but it's all frequency.
Mm.
And so that frequency formulates your body. Your essence is purely light. You have your own light vibration as Peter, and Terri has her own light vibration as Terri, and yet you both are the divine realm in action, in physical form.
So to say that we're all connected isn't quite right, in that connection implies two different things somehow being joined. Really, instead of connection, it's just unification. It's all one.
Yes, it is difficult sometimes for the human mind to understand that everything is all one, because through their eyesight, they see things as separate.
Yes. Now, Terri's a channeler, and as you probably know, I've been dealing with about 35 women who, or a couple guys in there too, who are channeling. It seems to me that compared to maybe 20 years ago, there's just a lot of channeling going on these days. From your perspective, is that the case? And if so, why do you think?
Yes, it is certainly the case. Since 2012, in your human year term, there has been an amplification in the ability for humans to remember the connection, the wholeness from which they come. They're seeing it as a connection. It's really an expansion of their awareness. Some may call it ascension. However, that veil that was placed over humans has lifted. And that veil that was placed over humans was created by humans. They wanted to have their own experience without interference. And when there were a variety of conscious agents that arose through the variety of religious doctrines, such as Jesus and Buddha and Prophet Muhammad and many others. They were able to seed what that connection to the whole is. That's why they are so revered within humanity.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that now there are channelers who realize that they are Source itself, the divine realm, in bodies, incarnated in a realm called Earth, in a dimension called Earth, where that frequency allows for a level of density for you to play and experience life more fully than if you were in another realm or dimension. And there are many that exist in the omniverse. Your Earth life is a very special one.
This veil you refer to, am I correct in stating that this is a veil that has caused us to forget that we are the divine realm and allows us to experience limitation and separation?
Yes, that was all part of it.
Quite a
It
game.
was, yeah, it's been quite a game watching the humans and their experiential play with separateness.
Amazing.
And yet they forgot. There's a series of reasons why they forgot that we may not get into in this particular call. It gets to be a little confusing and complicated. So we're going to try to keep it simple for this conversation.
Sure. Thank you. Well, back to the question of channeling. You acknowledge there are many more channelers. What is their role exactly? You mentioned that they realize that they are part of the divine realm, but what is their main mission?
It's to create new pathways. So just as a new hiker decides to choose and cut a new path along the mountain ridge, it's the same way. The channelers are creating a new path, a new pathway for other humans to remember that they are all part of the oneness, that they are the creators. And when they consciously choose to create, they can manifest what many of them wait to die for, and that's heaven. They can create a heavenly experience on beautiful earth.
Now, I see people on a fairly regular basis who want to channel, and I was wondering, would you have a message for those who think they might be capable of channeling that might help them to, I guess, progress that idea?
Yes. First, there is intention, and to share that intention out loud to themselves and make a type of proclamation within their heart and allow their mind to completely open to trust that what they are feeling and sensing is real. There is so much self-doubt that goes on within the human collective. And you can start small by asking simple questions like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm available. I'm really open to receive any particular message you would like to share."
Mhm.
And in that moment, a particular animal runs in front of you. And you can look up, what does that animal represent in a spiritual way? These are small ways to develop your trust and understanding of the greater whole. Everyone is capable of speaking with us. The divine realm lives in you. It is you. And allow yourself to open, to receive, and to be in co-creation. And that's all that the channeling is being an open, co-creative process. We remind you again of the inhalation and exhalation of breathing and bringing your conscious awareness to that process.
Mhm.
And as you inhale, know that you are the creator and you have full potentiality at the top of that breath. And as you exhale, you manifest and materialize.
Yes, that's pretty tricky for humans to do that trust and remove their minds and open up. Is meditation a way that might help them to do that?
Yes, however, humans complicate meditation. Meditation really is just being present in the moment of what you are doing. You could be washing dishes and allow that to be a meditative state. You could be walking in nature and allow that to be a meditation. You can sit cross-legged with your proper finger placements and close your eyes and put on certain music. And that may help you there too. Whatever works for you, to be present in the moment and know that as the thoughts arise, you can be present with them and breathe and let them go. If you find yourself in a constant mind chatter, allow yourself to come up with a mantra, some word or sound that you can keep repeating over and over that is fulfilling for your meditative process.
Yes, I find in and out with the inhalations and exhalations, respectively, helps me to keep my attention on my breathing and off the chatter. And I imagine other people find other ways, but yeah, the mantra is very helpful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, we're drawing towards an end here, and I was wondering if you have a message that would be appropriate for all our viewers at this time, maybe for humanity in general.
Stress less. Everything that is happening in your life serves a purpose. And it's not for you to go have to figure it out or to overanalyze it. Just notice it, observe it, and release it. There doesn't need to be judgment. Judgment causes stress. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you don't have to overanalyze it and curse the person and carry on for the next 10 minutes. You can just observe it and notice it. Perhaps they're in a hurry. Perhaps they didn't see me. That's it. Next.
Be the observer.
Yes. Release all the judgment that you have. Shift into the observation mode. Allow yourself to just witness life. If you find yourself in the middle of a reaction, know that that's for you to look inward, to release. Perhaps you're upset that that driver cut you off because they didn't see you, and you have past histories of not feeling seen or heard or acknowledged in your life. All you have to do is have that awareness and go, oh, well, that's silly. Of course, I'm heard, seen, and acknowledged. I am the divine realm. In action. How could I not be? Once you realize who you truly are, it's much easier to observe life and then say, now what do I want to co-create?
Mm-hmm.
With all these beautiful beings on the earth plane and other dimensions, there's so much play to be had. So we encourage you, stress less, enjoy more through observation and co-creation with the divine realm that lives in you.
Mm. Well, that's a wonderful message. And I keep hearing every once in a while, play. You know, that there, and we see it in our children, we see it in the animal kingdom. You know, there's playfulness all around us, but we often forget to engage in it.
Yes, as humans grow up, they lose their playfulness and they become very serious
Mm.
and stressed. That's what we see. So we encourage you to release that. Remember how to play again. Even if you don't have children, take a trip to the playground or watch shows that are meant for children. Allow yourself to get in touch with the younger version of you and to remember playfulness within you. And if you don't remember being playful when you were young, then recreate your younger life and have fun now.
Mm.
Allow your younger self to play with who you are today as an adult. Go on little trips together. Go observe nature together. Have ice cream together. You are one. It's not that you're different, your little one and your adult self. Sometimes it's just easier for humans to think of it in that way. Well, how would I treat myself, my little one, if I were the parent of my little one? Parents all do the best they can in the moment, although children might think otherwise. So, it is an opportunity for you to recreate your childhood by allowing yourself to be the divine parent for your little one.
Mm. Wonderful message. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for being with us here. I know you're going to be with us tomorrow night, not on Facebook Live, but with Terri and me. We have a little course, and Terri and I will say more about that. But I certainly look forward to being with you again tomorrow night. And thank you very much for being here this evening. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Peter. And thank you for all those out there listening. Keep on co-creating with us.
Good. Well, Terri, you just come on back now, your normal, relaxed speed. Don't rush anything.
Peter.
Hi.
Mhm.
Boy, they're good. You're good. Yeah, how are you feeling?
I feel great. They're always so clear. Like
Mhm.
in my human self, I can be well, I can be very complicated in my human self. And yet they always bring such simplicity and clarity that I've really been asking them. I'm like, please just can you just be with me all the time? Because I still, as a human, think of myself as somehow um, as separate. I mean, my
Yeah,
human self still feels that way sometimes, and so they have shared with me, yes, we are one, and they are me and I am them, and I'm still fully adapting my nervous system to fully receive that and feel it,
yeah,
on every cell of my being. So it's
yeah,
it's it's a work in progress.
yeah. Well, your
Yeah.
body has to get used to that higher vibration. And I know there's adjustment periods as the vibrations go up and up. The body sometimes feels a little off balance, a little ill. And, it's all temporary, but yeah. And that idea of separateness, we're here to experience what separateness is like because it's just so totally different to what we really are. But we're just playing the game of, hey, let's try separateness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we're playing it because
Yeah.
we've set it up so that that's what we believe to be the case. Yeah. Ah,
Mm.
uh, Terry, I guess you've been listening in on this conversation. I know sometimes the channeler kind of tunes out, but is there anything that you've picked up on that you feel might be appropriate to elaborate on, or any message yourself that you would have for our audience?
Yeah, we don't have to be perfect at this. And for those that want to channel or whatever they might want to call it, some people just call it connecting or being in relationship with. Know that there is something that is infinite and available for you, that's there to support you and be with you all the time, that there's no reason to feel lonely or isolated, that through that connection with the divine, and if you want to call it God, you want to call it creator, everybody's going to have their own version of what they call their connection, that lives them, that source of life that lives you. So allow yourself to play with it, to experience it without judgment, and just have fun.
Yeah,
Just, yeah.
yeah. Everything's fair game as long as you don't violate another, as I understand it.
Yeah. That's not, it's recognize when you hurt and violate somebody else, you're doing that to yourself, right? So why would you want to do that? So realize, be conscious, because there's a lot of unconscious collective type energy that happens. And I admit I have been a type A personality in my life, and I've pressurized myself and pushed myself and been very critical of myself, and that did not serve me.
Mhm.
That what did that do? Beating myself up like that and being critical of others and judgmental of others. That did nothing to serve me or them and the oneness of which we all are. And so I've done a lot to grow and to be more kinder and compassionate with myself and with others, and relaxing more into life and flowing with it rather than pushing or having some sort of agenda.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Terry, I wanted you to elaborate a little bit on the series that we're having Thursday evenings. We had the last one last Thursday, and again, the realm showed up and they were outstanding. And we got 5 more of these now, starting again tomorrow night and each Thursday afterwards. Um, Anybody who wishes to sign up for this, what's the best thing for them to do?
Yeah, probably the best way is to connect. You're hearing us on Facebook Live, so you can personal message, either myself, Terri Rainier, or Peter, right? So we can put that in the Facebook Live comment, I think, maybe after the fact. But message us, we'll share with you how you can, it's $20 per session, and
Yeah.
there's 5 more sessions. So we'll give you some PayPal information to PayPal either myself or Peter. So 20 Canadian at Peter's end or 20 US at my end. And yeah, you can join us at sessions are what, about an hour and a half, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. And people
generally a
get,
message. Yeah.
yeah. And individuals get to ask their own questions. And that's what we're emphasizing, really. There's not a theme each night, relationships or careers or things like that. It's more show up with your questions, and the divine realm will be there to, give you a perspective you probably hadn't thought of
Right.
in many cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great event last week. So yeah, everybody commented on how much each other's questions even applied to them, right? So
Yes. Yeah. They're ingenious that way. Yeah. Person A asks a question and the answer pertains to everybody in the room, sort of thing. Yeah. And I've had instances where I show up with maybe a dozen questions. I ask the first one, and the next 5 are all covered. And I've even had them say, "Oh, you forgot one," number 8. Yeah. Um, okay. Well, then I think the only other thing I would like to mention is that I'm in the business of helping individuals as a hypnotist. Individuals have come to me and asked if I could help them become channelers. And if you go to my Facebook page, or I'm sorry, my website, www.peterhdennis.com, 2 N's in Dennis, you'll see some pages on channeling. And those pages will guide you into how to get in touch with me, what my fees are, and what I can do for you, and that sort of thing. So, Terri, I think that is it. This has been fun.
yeah, and I just want to reiterate too, like Peter, you're such a great coach for helping people with hypnosis and also learning how to channel. So yeah, and you've really helped me hone my skills, and I really appreciate all that you've done and helping me to have more confidence in sharing with the public. So thank you.
Thank you. Good. Well, now we have to figure out how to end this Facebook Live.